What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another review, and today is going to be an awesome day. Now, we are doing a rally / car drive, so we've got Audi R8s, we've got McLarens, we've got a million supercars with us, and this is definitely going to be the coolest event that I have ever done and partaken in. And today I am in a 2012 Porsche Panamera Turbo S. And now this isn't a stock Porsche Panamera Turbo. This is pushing right around 700 wheel and does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. So we might be testing launch control. And this car is an absolute monster. This car also has 3 different drive modes. It has Comfort, Sport, and then Sport Plus. Currently I'm running in Sport just to get a nice feel for the car, see how the car handles. We're on a cruise, so I'm not doing anything too crazy yet. So far, the ride quality is amazing. This car is actually sitting on 22-inch Borsteiner wheels, which just kind of accent the car very nicely. And it's also got carbon ceramic brakes, so they are very, very touchy. Now, with the transmission being a 7-speed automatic, if you want to put it over manual, you just slide this over into manual, and you can either use the shifter down here to push forward and backwards, or up here on the steering wheel, instead of having paddles like in some cars, you push it forward to go up a gear and you pull it back to go down a gear. So kind of interesting. Unlike most cars, like I said, that have the paddles, this one's push forward or push back. This will be the first Porsche I've reviewed as well. And as far as the interior goes, there's carbon fiber absolutely everywhere in this car. Let's punch and see what this thing can do. Oh my gosh, it's a rocket ship. Whew. It's fast. That was like quarter throttle. That was probably half throttle. Wow, that's fast. The tachometer and the entire layout of this car is absolutely gorgeous. The craziest thing about this car is going to be the back seats. The back seats are almost more comfortable than the front, and you also have climate controls back there. The seats in the back, there's 2 of them, and they're almost bucket-like, so it's almost like sitting in the front. Now, one of the coolest things about this car is that they have Supercar Performance. Now, from the factory, their top end speed is going to be 192 miles an hour, but the owner of this car has actually gotten that removed, and now this car will clear 200 miles per hour. I'm not sure why I haven't been driving it in this mode yet, but it does have an exhaust button down here that if you press it, it actually opens up the exhaust. So when you want it to be quiet, it closes the valves. When you want it to be loud, you just press the button and it opens them right up. It sounds absolutely beautiful. Now, the 4.8 liter twin turbo V8 absolutely purrs. Now, coming from Nate's E63S AMG, it doesn't have that really grunty sound from it, but it's a very crisp, beautiful note. All right, I've driven this for just a few minutes, and let's just say this car is way too nice for it. By far the nicest car I have ever driven. The steering is so nimble, so precise, and where you point this car goes. It just, I get why people love Porsches. All right, question though, is it Porsche or is it Porsche? I'm gonna get roasted, but I call it Porsche. I like the way that sounds. It just sounds better, you know? All right, not sure if I can catch this on camera, but when you give it a little bit of gas, you hear that little pop? That little exhaust note? I love that. That sounds really cool. All right, guys, those brakes work extremely well. Carbon ceramics, all the way around. Very expensive brakes, but very, very sticky. Now, the owner of this car was telling me after about 10 minutes, these brakes get very, very hot and very, very noisy. All right, boys, it might be time to hit an on-ramp, so you guys know what that means. Sport Plus. This gives me an extra 50 horsepower on the tune this is on. Oh, and if you guys are curious, this also is running race gas, so that definitely helps improve the performance a little bit, but the gas mileage is definitely gonna suffer. I was gonna run over gas mileage specs. There's no need, because with this car, you're not concerned about gas mileage. Oh my gosh, that was half throttle. What? So what I've noticed already about Sport Plus is it holds gears a lot longer. I'm barely in the throttle at all, and it's just holding third. It's like it knows that Yep, that's fast. That puts you in your seat real hard. And brakes work. All right, boys, time to punch it. It's fast. It's such a linear power band. For 700 wheel, I was expecting a little bit more of a kick, but it's so linear. In the transmission, you can't even feel it shift. You're going and you never lurch forward. So now that I've driven the car for a bit and I have a little bit of a feel for it, I'm gonna go ahead and put it over into manual mode and shift for myself. And now one of the coolest things to me about this is, like McLaren's, you can also change gears up and down from both sides of the steering wheel. So now on the left side, you have the paddle where if you push forward, it goes up a gear, and if you pull back, it shifts down a gear, and you have the same thing over here on the right side. So very nice for, say, if you're a YouTuber and a vlogger and you need to vlog, you can shift up and down gears. Now, for most people, you don't really need that feature, but it's a nice creature comfort. And one of the coolest things is when you actually have your hands on the steering wheel, your thumbs sit perfectly on the gear selector. Now I see why PDKs are the best transmission ever. They are lightning quick. I pull the paddle and it shifts gears. It's literally quicker than I can snap that it shifts into the next gear. Now if I own this car, unless I'm cruising to dinner or something, I would always have it in manual mode because it's just so much more fun. Like flick a gear, downshifts, lightning fast. I've driven a dual clutch and it is a lot less finicky than the dual clutch. Even though the dual clutch is a good transmission, I see why the PDK is just light years ahead of pretty much any automatic transmission that's out there. Now over here on the right side of the dash, you actually have a selector where you can scroll through things like boost, coolant temp, oil temp. If you scroll up another, there's tire pressure. If you have your phone connected, you can see that as well. And then if you scroll up one more, you actually have a map. So you have a navigation system down here on the center console, and you also have one here on the dashboard, which makes it very convenient. You're not having to look right down at this. It's just right in your center view. From the outside, this car is massive. It looks very large. It has such a large presence and looks intimidating going down the road, but when you sit in here, it doesn't feel like necessarily that big of a car. The front end's not very long. I mean, you can tell you have a lot behind you, but you honestly feel very one with the car. Everything's kind of pointed at you and directed at the driver. Just makes it that much more of a driver's car. Now, the owner of this car also has 65,000 miles on this, so he definitely drives it. It's no garage queen, and it's a Porsche, so you're gonna get hundreds of thousands of miles out of this. Now, maintenance cost on Porsches, as you guys know, is a little bit more expensive than your regular car. It's also got carbon ceramics, which, if you guys aren't familiar with, are very, very expensive to replace once they wear. But they're some of the most aggressive brakes you can get on a car. When you look at the steering wheel, you have, when you're in Sport Plus, a little Sport Plus light lights up on the steering wheel, and then it also has a little metal thing that says PDK on it, just to let you know that it's a 7-speed automatic and it's better than your manual or your dual clutch. So when I drive this car, the little kid comes out in me and I feel like I'm playing a video game, just with the little paddles on the shifter, just ding, 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 ding. All right, let's floor it. I don't know how this is possible. Like, what? This car is a monster. Oh, this car, you just downshift the gear, floor it, and this car hauls. So we're out on a little bit of back roads that are a lot smoother. We actually get to test this thing out and see what it can do. This car also has an active wing, so there's a button over here on the center column. You press this, and the wing folds right out. It also has a system where you can actually test 0 to 60 times, you can test lap times, and and it's all through this clock right up here. You actually take this thing to the track or want to test 0 to 60 times, you can do that very, very easily with this car. He also has a carbon ducktail on this, which honestly adds to the aesthetics very, very nicely. It's a nice touch. It's not too much, and it's carbon fiber, so it looks gorgeous. Guys, so I'm now in the passenger seat. Since he knows the car better than I do, he's actually gonna take me for a rip. We're gonna test out launch control and see what this thing can do in the corners. We're gonna go ahead and launch the Porsche Panamera and see how this goes. Yep, that's the hardest launch I've ever felt. All right guys, hopefully this gives you a better idea of what launch control is like. That is ridiculous. That thing launches so hard, dude. Oh, there's no way you can't smile after that.
About it.